If you have your lesson book, turn to page number 34. Don't have one, that's absolutely fine. You don't really need one. In the lesson book on page number 34, at the top of the page where it says the example of Christ and the equality in giving. The writer says here, he says, as Paul continues his exhortation to encourage the Corinthians to give liberally, he chooses not to speak by commandment. That which is done of necessity does not show the liberality of spirit that should accompany such gifts. Rather, he will prove from the Greek word dokimazo, which means to test, the sincerity, nisios, from the Greek word nisios, and it means legitimately born, not spurious, genuine, true, sincere, of their love, by comparing it with the forwardness, which is earnestness of others. He then gives the example of Jesus as a basis for appealing for them to give. He says, for ye know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor, that ye through his poverty might be rich, though he was rich. This refers to Jesus' pre-incarnation state. His pre-existence is assumed, as well as his equality with the Father, and this is in Philippians chapter 2, verses 4 through verse number 9. His poverty consisted of his taking upon himself the form of a man, and probably does not speak of his financial condition while on earth. Jesus becoming poor was for your sakes, thus personalizing the atonement for the Corinthians. His purpose was to make us rich, through his becoming poor. Remember the words of Hebrews chapter 2 and verse number 10. For it became him for whom are all things, and by him whom are all things, and bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through suffering. The exhortation of the appeal to Christ is to constrain the Corinthians to give just as he gave. Paul gave his advice. It was expedient, appropriate, that the Corinthians not only do something, but to will, that is, to desire to do it. They had begun this collection in the previous year, and now it was time to finish it. Where there is a willing heart, the gift is accepted according to, what the man has, and not on the basis of what he does not have. His purpose in exhorting their giving was not to give others ease and they be burdened, but that there might be equality. This does not mean that everyone's bank balance be the same, but that all should have freedom from necessity. If you will, turn with me to 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 10 and 11. Brother Walker, 2 Corinthians chapter 8, in verses 10 and verse number 11.
Herein I give my advice, but this is expedient for you, who have begun before, not only to do, but also to be forward a year ago. Not now therefore perform the doing of it, that as there was a readiness to will, so there may be a performance also out of that which ye have.
All right. Now, as we finished up on last time, Paul was encouraging the Corinthians. He was encouraging them to just to follow through with that blessing and to give. Why? Well, because God has blessed you. Yeah, He's blessed you. Yeah, and in verse number 10 in 2 Corinthians chapter 8, Paul lets the Corinthians know that ain't nothing changed. Nothing has changed. No, you see, a whole year has gone by. And the poor saints in Jerusalem, you know what? They still need help. Yeah, they still need help. And so nothing has changed. Yeah, you see, according to the record, last year this time, Paul says that the church at Corinth was eager to help. Yeah, they was eager to help those poor and needy saints in Judea. Yeah. And you know what they did? They started a collection. Yeah, they started a collection for those needy saints. And this was a whole year ago. But you know what? They never sent it. Yeah, they never sent it. No. And Paul is saying, look, now my advice to you, because again, this is not a command. No. Paul says, my advice to you is to just follow through. Yeah, just follow through. Yeah, just do what you said you was going to do. Do what you set out to do from the beginning, starting a whole year ago. Yeah, you know what? I know this is what he's saying. I know this is what he's saying because look back at verse number 11. Yeah, in verse number 11 of 2 Corinthians chapter 8, he says here, now therefore perform the doing of it. Yeah, he says to perform the doing of it. Yeah, in other words, my advice to you is to do what you said you was going to do. Do what you said you was going to do. Yeah, you know, I can remember a few years back, and this is not necessarily about what Paul is talking about here, but this is what came to my mind. A few years back, I was talking with a brother, and I really don't remember how we got on the subject. But now, because of his response to my question, this is why I remember. Yeah, and again, I really don't know how we got on the subject, but I ended up asking him this question. I said to him, are you giving to the Lord as you prosper? Yeah, not how much you're giving, because that's not my business. That's between you and the Lord. Yeah, but now, are you giving to the Lord as you prosper? And you know what he said to me? No. Yeah, he said no. Yeah, now this is a brother, and he's working a full-time job, getting passports and going on vacation out of the country. Yeah, doing all these things. Yeah, making all these moves. But now when it comes to giving to God, as he's prospering, his answer is no. No. He said, when I start making some real money, that's when I'm going to start giving. Yeah, bro, I tried to explain to him that it don't work like that. Yeah. It don't. That's not how it works. No, it don't work like that, because now, number one, you see, if you're not gonna do nothing with your little bit, then you're not gonna do nothing when you get a whole lot. No. You see, in other words, if you are sorry When you ain't got no money, you gonna be even more sorry when you get some. Yeah. I heard a rich man say many years ago, he said, let me tell you something about money. He said, money is only gonna make you more of what you already are. Yeah, it's only gonna make you more of what you already are. Yeah. You know what? Last I heard, he started making some real money, and now he's not even a member of the church anymore. No. So he didn't even follow through on what he said. No, and it's because he wasn't faithful. And I tried to tell him, I said, bro, you're not being faithful. Oh, yes, I am, because you see, some people, they have this misconception that if I come to church every now and then, I'm faithful. That's not how this thing works. Yeah. What if the Lord decided to give you some air today but none tomorrow? You'll think he was treating you bad, wouldn't you? Yeah, you see, but see, that's the misconception that we have. And I tried to get him to see this, that you're not being faithful. No. And I know that Paul is not talking about the worship service collection. I know this. But now I believe the same concept applies. And that is, do what you said you was going to do. Yeah, when it comes to the Lord's money, take that money and set it aside. And don't let nothing change your plans. No, don't let nothing change your plans. You see, when you set the Lord's money aside, that's his money. Yeah, anything else that comes up, hey, I remember Sister Barker, she told me, she said, look, her and Brother Barker, they was having some problems with these bills and things. And Sister Barker said, what we did was we put all the bills in a hat. Yeah. And she had to explain this to one of the bill collectors. She said we put all the bills in a hat, and whichever two we pull out first, those are the two that we pay. She told the bill collector, she said, you keep bothering us, your name is not even going to go in the hat. Yeah, but you know what? They took the Lord's money and set it aside. Yeah, all this other stuff, cable and hey, come and go. But the Lord, we always depending on that. Yeah, we always depending on that. Yeah, and so just do what you said you was gonna do. Yeah. And we do this by counting the cost. Yeah, which means, in other words, you're gonna need a budget. Yeah, you're gonna need a budget. Now I'll tell you about myself personally, and everybody's got a story. But I remember, when I was a young Christian, had not been a member of the church very long, and I had my little job making about $6, $7 an hour. And I just thought to myself, after listening to Brother Nash and other preachers and Brother Willie Thomas, talk about how to give and doing these things, I said to myself, you know what? I said, before I do anything, when I get my check, I'm going to take $25 and give it to the Lord, all right? $25. I said, regardless. So every week when I got paid, I took them $25 and I stuck it to the side. And like I said, this is back in the 80s. So I had my little $6, $7 job. And I thought I was doing something, But my goal was to stay faithful to the Lord in what I was given. And thank the Lord, I was able to do that. I thank him for it, because when stuff would come along, like, man, we going here this weekend. Well, whatever we're doing, it's going to be $25 short. And so I had to make my mind up that this money belongs to the Lord, because, I just felt like, look, he's blessing you. You working this little job, and you got stuff. You ain't making no money, and you don't realize you ain't making no money, but you got stuff. Yeah, so give the Lord back something. Give him back something. And like Brother Thomas used to say, when you get an increase, the Lord get an increase too. Yeah, yeah, and so you need a budget. You need to set a budget and don't let nothing come along, not your friends, not your family. Well, I need, if I can help you, I can help you. If I can't, then you have to catch me next pay period. Because this money, it belongs to the Lord. Yeah, I remember one brother, he told me he was getting this job, and he got this good job, and he stopped being faithful, stopped coming to church, and hadn't seen him in a couple of years, and finally got a chance to sit down and talk with him and stuff. And I said, man, you know, how in the world why'd you leave the church? I didn't leave the church, man. I didn't leave the church. Why you saying I left the church? I said, because you ain't been here. What you mean? We still here. We still meet at the same time. You know, I ain't leave the church. I ain't leave the church. I said, okay, you haven't left the church? No, man. Stop saying that. I said, okay, you haven't left the church? No. I said, then where's the Lord's money? He looked at me like I was crazy. I said, you say you ain't left the church? Yeah. I said, so the Lord should have a stack of money somewhere. Well, man, you know, no. See, that's proof that you left the church. Yeah, because you stopped being faithful, because you used to give every week. In these last few years, we haven't seen you. You haven't given anything. So it should be a stack of money somewhere. Yeah. But again, it's about having a budget and putting the Lord at the top of that thing. Yeah, and the Lord know you got to take care of your kids and pay your rent and all that right there. But when you make up in your mind, this is what I'm gonna give to the Lord, stick by it. Stick by it. Yeah. And so again, be faithful. Be faithful in what you're going to be doing. Yeah, be faithful. And set the Lord's money aside, and don't let nothing come along and change your plans to give to the Lord. And again, let's go back to 2 Corinthians chapter 8, and let's look at verse number 12. 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse number 12. KJ, if you got it, please.
For if there be first a willing mind, it is accepted according to that a man hath, not according to that he hath.
All right. Now, it doesn't matter if it's the Lord or an individual. The first thing we need in our effort to give is a willing mind. Yeah, we need a willing mind. And you know, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Now, and this is just Brother Williams talking. Now, me, I personally believe that if you are giving the Lord something that you really don't want him to have, I personally believe that you might as well keep it. Yeah, you might as well keep it. Yeah, again, if you're giving to the Lord something that you really don't want him to have, my personal opinion is you might as well keep it. Yeah, because now after all that he's done for us, if it is paining you to give him that little bit, you might as well keep it. Yeah, you might as well keep it. Yeah, now again, this is just me. Yeah. But now in the case of what Paul is talking about here in 2 Corinthians, let's go to James chapter 2. James chapter 2, verses 15 and 16. Brother James Thomas. James chapter 2, verses 15 and 16.
If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, depart, and peace be ye warm and filled, notwithstanding, he give them not those things which are needful to the body. What do it profit?
All right. Thank you, Brother Thomas. Now, you see, the first thing that you must have that we must have in our efforts to give, the first thing we must have is a willing mind. And the second thing is that there must be some works to go with that willing mind. Yeah. In other words, do what you can to try and help the situation. Yeah, because James says here, what good is it? What good is it to see a brother or sister without sufficient clothes or food, and you have the wherewithal and the means to help, even if it's just a little bit?
Amen.
But you don't. You just tell them, well, I pray that the Lord will bless you with things that you stand in need of. James says, what good is that? In other words, why are you asking the Lord to do something that you can do? Why are you asking him to do something that you can do? Yeah, James says, what good is it? Yeah, now, don't get me wrong, because we're really not talking about someone who just walks in here off the street. No, because number one, this, according to James, this is a brother or sister. Yeah, number two, this is a daily problem that we can see. Yeah, because he said destitute of daily food. Yeah, so this is something that we can see. Yeah, it's not that they are not trying. It's not that they're lazy. Yeah, it's not that they can work, but they just don't want to work. No, they just need some help. Yeah, they need some help. Yeah, this is not somebody that's running game. You know, I remember years ago, before Brother Jackson took the job, we had a couple that came here from another congregation, and they came here after the morning service was over. They asked for a little meet with the brothers, and a couple of us, we met with them in the back, and they was expressing to us how they was planning on moving to this area. And right now they was having a little financial difficulty. They had some money coming from somewhere and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just listening to it. And I said, okay, well, that's great and everything. They said, well, you know, we like the preaching here, so we probably gonna try to place our membership here. I said, okay, well, that's wonderful. And they said, but if you guys could, you know, give us a little financial assistance until, you know, this money comes in, we would appreciate it. I said, well, let us look into a couple of things first. I said, what's your home congregation? What's the phone number? They said, oh, no problem. They gave it to us and everything. And I said, now y'all come back tonight. Once we make contact with the preacher, then, you know, we'll see about what we can do to try to help y'all in this situation. So I went home and I called, and the phone just rang, and I called back. Preacher picked up. And I told him, I said, do you know brother and sister so-and-so? He said, yeah. He said, don't give him a dime. Before I could say anything. He said, brother, don't give him nothing. Don't give him. He said, man, he said, that'll hit every congregation down here. He said, man, don't give him nothing. He said, if you see him again, tell him we're looking for him. Yeah, and so, you know, they're running game, and I don't understand why in the world, how could you try to run game on the Lord's church? That's just mind-boggling to me. But now, these are not the type of people that we're talking about. I'm not talking about somebody that's running game. No. You see, this is a faithful brother or a faithful sister that's in need of some help. And Paul advises the church at Corinth to just do what you can according to your ability. Let's go back to 2 Corinthians chapter 8. Let's look at verses 13 through verse number 15. Brother Paul, 1 Corinthians chapter 8. 2 Corinthians rather, chapter 8, verses 13 through 15.
For I mean not that other men be eased, and ye burdened, but by an equality that now at this time your abundance may be supplied for their want.
Mm-hmm.
and their abundance also may be a supply for your want, that there may be equality.
Mhm.
As it is written, he that had gathered much had nothing over, and he that had gathered little had no lack.
All right. Now, Paul here, he is still urging the Corinthians to give, but he wants them to know that all of the burden does not fall on them. No. He said there's going to be equality. All of the burden doesn't fall on you. You know, Paul says, I don't mean or want you to be the only ones that's burdened, and others, other congregations, and be at ease. No, you see, that's why he wants them to give according to their ability. Yeah, you see, if everyone does this, if everyone gives according to their ability, verse 14 lets us know that there will be equality. Yeah, in other words, nobody will be taken advantage of. No, there will be equality. And it's not just about money either. No, because Paul pointed out something in Romans chapter 15. Let's go over there. Romans chapter 15, verses 26 and 27. Brother Anthony Thomas. Romans chapter 15, verses 26 and 27.
For it has pleased them of Macedonia and Achaia, making a certain trip
Mm-hmm. That's it.
contribution for the poor saints which are at Jerusalem. It has pleased them verily, and their debtor they are for if the Gentiles have been more made great partakers of their spiritual things, their
Duty.
their duty is also to
Minister.
minister unto them in carnal things.
All right. Thank you, Brother Thomas. Yeah, you see now, even back then, when Macedonia and Achaia was giving their carnal things, money to the poor and needy at Jerusalem, when they was doing this, there was still equality. How? Well, because those Gentile congregations had partook of their spiritual blessings. Yeah, those spiritual blessings. And now they, the poor needy saints in Jerusalem, they are partaking of their carnal things. Yeah, at least that's the way that I understand it, and that's some of the writers that I read behind understanding. Yeah, so there is equality. There is equality. They were partaking of their spiritual things, and so now that they are in need, because they was in need of those spiritual things. They was in need of the gospel to be come to them and preached. And so now they are partaking of their material things, their money. Yeah, and in verse number 15 of 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse number 15, it says, as it is written, he that had gathered much had nothing over, and he that had gathered little had no lack. Now, some believe that Paul here, they say that he is quoting Moses and what Moses said back over in Exodus chapter 16. Let's turn over here. Exodus chapter 16, verses 17 and verse number 18. Exodus 16, verses 17 and 18. KJ, if you have it, please. Yes, sir. Exodus 16, 17 and 18.
The children of Israel did so, gathered some more, some less, and when they did meet, it was he that had gathered much had nothing over, he that had gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating.
All right, now, the key thing to remember here is that God will provide. You see, God provided this. Yeah. When you really boil it all down, He's the one that takes care of our necessities. Yeah. And it's not really about us sharing what we have, but it's about remembering who all this stuff really belongs to. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse number 26, the Bible says, "For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof." Yeah, you see, to me, this is what it's all about. It's about us remembering that all of this stuff really belongs to God. We're just stewards. Yeah, we're just stewards of what He's given us. All of it belongs to Him. Yeah. And if you got a whole lot, God is the one that gave it to you. And if you ain't got but a little bit, be thankful for that little bit, because God is the one that gave it to you. Yeah. You know what He expects? He expects us to be faithful stewards, rather. He expects us to be faithful stewards of those things in which He has blessed us with. Yeah, He expects us to be faithful. And for some reason, it makes me think about the one-talent man. Yeah, you see, the one-talent man, he was not a good steward with that which the Lord had given him. No, he was not a good steward. And listen to what the Lord said in Matthew chapter 25. We'll begin there. Matthew chapter 25, in verse number 28. The Lord He says, "Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents." Yeah. So we must be careful. We must be careful with that which the Lord has given us. And you know what? We need to just do what's right. Yeah, do what's right. Why? Well, because there is the possibility that He might take that which was given to us. Yeah, He might take it away. He might take it away. I heard a preacher say one time, he said, "I don't want the Lord to come take my stuff." It took him a long time to get some stuff. So he tried to be helpful, man. He said, you got a new car. He offered to drive people around in it. He said, "I don't want the Lord to come take it." Be a good steward. Be a good steward of those things which the Lord has given us. And we're out of time. We'll talk a little bit more about this on next week. Lord willing.